Hey guys, Gear here, and this time, as you can see by the title, I kind of finally finished Innocent. Now, this got something I'm gonna talk about beforehand, but I'm just gonna say, first of all, I tried recording a video a few days ago, which was literally just me playing a game and just talking, basically like a gaming video, I guess. But then, I went to put it into Adobe, Premiere Rush to like record it, and then like the audio was fine. Actually, no, it wasn't fine. So it was like a 20-minute recording, and then for some reason the audio file was 3 minutes long, and it just cut off at one point. There's that. There's another thing that also, like, I was playing a game. It wasn't even like that much of a like super heavy game or something. It was just a normal 2D game, and like most of the gameplay was just frozen, so I couldn't really do much regardless. So I didn't, I decided not to do that for now. I'll probably do that eventually. But also, I just haven't read as much manga recently, and there was some points in Innocent where I kind of got burnt out, which is the reason why it took me so long to finish it. But I have finished Innocent, and I also did start and finish Tepu. So I'll be talking about those, two series in the next 2 videos probably, or at least I'll talk about Innocent this time and then Tepu some other time. But yeah, pretty simple. Let's just get straight into it. Y'all know how these work. So as for Innocent, it was one of those series where I definitely enjoyed it a lot more at some times, and then I kind of struggled to read it at other times. Now, that's not to like detract from it, right? I still think it's a really good series that most people should read. I just personally just felt bored at times, although that probably was just because I got burned out, which is why I started to read Tepu, just to like not be burnt out, and I started really liking Tepu. Anyways, that's not the video. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Innocent and Innocent Rogue are 99 chapters and 88 chapters respectively, and they're about an executioner family, the Sansons, around the time of the French Revolution, a bit before and then a bit after, where it's just basically how their life goes, the injustices of being born that way, and it tackles a lot of themes, like for example, I don't know what you would call it, but like kind of hatred, I guess. Like, is it fair to be hated or because of how you were born? The reason that's the thing is because the Sansons, they're an executioner family, and it's not like some of the executioners stuff you see sometimes, like they have a mask. Now they have it. This is before the guillotine, or at least most of the series is. They have their whole face shown, and they cut the person's head off. Now, because they're cutting people's heads off, and a lot of them are people, lower class, they get a lot of hatred. So people, for example, don't even want to breathe the same air as them, don't even want to be in the same room, don't want to be touched. There's like, stuff saying that, oh, if you get touched by a Sanson, you just get like your life ruined, your family's ruined, your whole bloodline is just gonna have bad luck forever. It's gonna be cursed. And because of that, it's also a really like sad story to see people believe something like that just because of how they were born, because they're just doing their job, right? Now I understand it's not the most good job. It's not a job that someone should be proud to. Okay, it's not like really a job that people would go like, oh yeah, guess what I am? I'm an executioner, bruh. Like, it's not something like that, right? But it's also, it's just their occupation. It's how they make money. It's how they support their family, So you can't really blame them for it. And then when you get back into like because they also do have, I think it's an Innocent Rogue. Yes, Innocent Rogue. They show like the backstory to how the Sanson family was kind of like made, I guess, right? And it's also just like not their fault. I mean, like, I guess to a degree, yes, but at the same time, it's like the original guy was kind of like scammed. I don't know if you say scammed or deceived, but it wasn't. He didn't want to be an executioner. I know that's kind of spoiling, but it's not really that bad. But yeah, I do think the themes are really well tackled in the series. I like how they're portrayed, how they're done, how they're consistently showed. Another thing I like about the series is some of the characters. Again, the cast isn't my favorite, right? But for example, Charles Henri and Marie, they're probably my 2 favorite characters. Zero is also a really fun character, but that's probably mostly because of like how well, not written, but like how she kind of just shows us the themes, right? She's really a fun character. You might not understand, but she also is like a thematical thematical portrayal. She's great. Now, again, I don't pay attention too much to that stuff. I'm not like reading a series and then just 24/7 analyzing. There were times in this series though where like I'll have them on screen at some point, right? But like, for example, they'll have one person. There's an example where someone's having like lying down in a flower bed, holding a head, and then around that small flower bed, there's just a bunch of heads, right? So there's a lot of stuff like that, and there, it's just figuratively, right? So there's a lot of stuff like that where like it kind of helps you, kind of like symbolism, I guess, right? Visual symbolism. So that's also like really fun to analyze a lot of the time. There is times where they explain it like they do like near the end with I think it's a statue of Michelangelo. That was really cool, and I just think that thematically this series is really good in that aspect. Another thing that's really good and it also helps with that is the art. Now the art in Innocent is like amazing. It's one of my favorite art styles I've seen. I really love how it looks, how gritty it is, and like it's not gritty in like a Chainsaw Man type of way, but it's also like again it's a sign-in, so they're not gonna censor much, if anything at all. So the way like everything is just done in so much detail and it just looks really good. And like okay, the action scenes aren't the best, but this isn't a series that you would really read for fights or action. It's more like a story reason that you read, if that makes sense, right? Story or themes, stuff like that. You're not really gonna go into this with the same mindset you might get into, I don't know, Baki or something, right? I haven't read Baki, by the way. I want to read it soon. But it's not, it's nothing like that where you get into it because of the fights. You get into it because of the story. So that's also, speaking of the story now, the story is also, I mean, it's pretty good at times. There are times where I feel like it's slow. But near the end of Innocent, around the middle to the escartlement, I think is what you call it, near the like 20 pages in or something. That's great. Near the end of Innocent Rogue is also really good. The beginning is also good. I feel like the middle wasn't my favorite, and like the middle, like near the end part kind of thing, I also wasn't my favorite, which is around the time when I got burnt out, so that could be the reason. But it's also like story-wise, it's good. It has a lot of foreshadowing that you see mostly in Innocent Rogue, like that you see show up in Innocent Rogue, but there are also other times where that's not the case. Now, let me talk. I want to talk more about some more basic stuff. The main character is, at least like for a part of it, is Charles Henri, who is I think the third Monsieur de Paris, or I don't know how you're supposed to say it, right? I'm not French, but he's the third, basically just main executioner in Paris, who works under the king, and it's basically like he's born very kind-hearted and loving, and then he has a little sister called Marie who is also the main character, but that's later on, if that makes sense. She's like the main character for all of Innocent Rogue, and then the main character for like I think the later half of Innocent too. But yeah, she's like the complete opposite in that aspect. She like likes to see blood, even though back in those times women weren't really meant to be seeing blood or doing the type of thing she would do. She's like your stereotypical evil-ish kid in other series, right? She would like find birds, want to dissect them and stuff like that. Now, another thing, okay, I forgot to mention this earlier, but another thing that the series, shows is also like gender equality or just gender stuff in general. For example, Marie also tries to dress up as a man, not because she wants to be a man, but just because she just dresses how she wants to dress. And I think part of that reason is why Marie is one, a lot of people's favorite female character, and two, why she's just so good, both as just a fun character and thematically. Like, she's just like, she doesn't care, she's not stereotypical at all, she's just fun, right? And like, she's got like probably some of the better panels in the series, especially like one of the last panels in Innocent, or like just Innocent in general, is just amazing and really, it's just a really cool panel, I'm gonna be honest with you. The last few chapters of Innocent are good, the last few chapters of Innocent Rogue are good. To me, this series did have a good ending, but I don't know, I kind of fell out of nowhere. Then again, keep in mind, I got to like chapter 83 out of 88, and I stopped reading Innocent for like a week or two, and then I got back into it after reading Tapu. So that's also probably the reason why I might think it was out of nowhere, but I still enjoyed Innocent. Now, is it like a top 10 series for me? No, it's not a top 10 series for me. At the same time, though, I do have a lot of series in my top 10 that I really enjoy, and that I always say this, that I doubt will ever be surpassed, but that's also just like basically a lie, because I say that every single time and then something always surpasses it, which is why I start to see why people do like top 50s, right? Because like you might have a series like in your top 50 that you still really love, but there's just that other 49 that you just love even more. Now, I mean, are you really gonna love a series in your top 50? Like, do you really love the series? Maybe, maybe not. But it really depends on how much you've been reading how much you read manga, how much you just enjoy manga in general. So it's not top 10 for me personally. It's not close for me. It's also like that burnout part I mentioned could be something to do with it, but I personally just didn't enjoy it enough for it to be in my top 10. I can see why it's someone in the top 10. Thematically, it's amazing. Marie is a great character. The art's out of this world, and there's just so much to the series. I just couldn't enjoy it as much. And I rank my top 10, or at least the majority of it, based on how much I enjoy the series, which also goes into, say, for example, can I read 20 chapters of this series in one day, or a day, like every other day or something? I couldn't do that with Innocent. I had to like read 5 chapters a day max, or else at one point I would get bored. There was one point with the Scuttlement where I didn't get bored. Chapters flew by. But besides that, like I didn't really feel like I could like read infinite amounts of chapters of the series. Now, that's also not just, oh, you can't read this many chapters of a series. Okay, that just means you didn't enjoy it as much. Because there are exceptions, right? For example, you might really enjoy Hunter x Hunter, but when you look at that dialogue, it's kind of hard to read that many chapters a day. Some series are more dialogue heavy, some series just fly by more. That's just the nature of the series, how the author does it. That's just like, it goes into a variety of things. And it also just means, lately school started, so I've been also busy with that. And yeah, so I haven't also had the time to read that much manga, which is, again, why this video took so long. So, basically, Innocent, I would definitely recommend it to you. It's not my top 10, again, as I mentioned, but it's maybe top 20 or something. I don't list things out that much. I might do that for a video, maybe like for 200 subs or something, I don't know. But I just think you should read it, because a lot of people I've met also like really enjoyed the series. One of the reasons I might not have enjoyed it as much is probably maybe because I was disappointed, not because it's bad. But like everywhere I saw it go, top 10, top 5, top 2, top 3, So like I got all these high expectations, and then it's still good. It just didn't reach those for me. And again, that might just be because it's not my type of series. Now, I'm not bashing Sakamoto, but because I do plan to read his other series, The Climber. But that Innocent was just not my type of story. Will The Climber be my type of story? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not gonna be the one to judge because I haven't read it yet. But yeah, art. In summary, right? Art is really good. I definitely think it's one of the better like art mangas. Not art manga, you know what I mean? Mangas with like really good art that you'll find. Characters are also good. I don't think it's that like deeply layered that it's gonna have like a bunch of characters that could be your top 5. It's like maybe 3 or 4 that you might really enjoy, but then outside of that, it's kind of just not that strong, right? There are some characters that like I'll know their names at least. Like I know Marie, Charles Henri, Louis the 14th or something. I don't know the main king that you see for most of the series. I know Zero, I know Andre, all that, but like it's not like I really enjoyed so much any of those characters. Marie was probably the only character where I could say I really just loved it when she was on screen. And even then, there were some exceptions to that rule, It's not like with, I do this every time, right? But like, it's not like One Piece or Tokyo Ghoul or Magi, where those series have like super fleshed out layers upon layers upon layers of characters that are super fun, that any of them could be your top 1 character in the series, or at least top 5. Again, that's not a bash, that's just, also at the same time, that's just like how good those series have their cast. I don't expect every series to be like that, but you know what I'm saying, that it's just not on that level. It's still a really good cast though. I'm not trying to diss Innocent so much. I know it may sound like I don't like the series because of how much I've talked like against it, but I do actually like the series, Story's great, character's great, art's great. Thematically is probably the best part about it, like how well the themes are showed, which also, I guess, has to do with the art, because there are a lot of things, like I mentioned with the flower bed earlier, where like they'll be in a scene and then they'll show another like image that kind of represents that theme in symbolism forms or other symbolism. Now, I might not have like enjoyed the series as much as other people because I couldn't understand the symbolism or something. I don't really like a lot of times. Like, oh yeah, that's cool. There was some times where I'd be like, oh wow, this is supposed to represent this or that. There was one time that I really did that, right? I'm not gonna say when because it's kind of a spoiler. It's not a massive spoiler. I just am trying to spoil as little as possible. But yeah, thematically it's great. Probably one of the better aspects of the series. And overall, I just do recommend you read it. I'm not trying to drag this video too much because I do want to get this out like in 1 or 2 days, just because I don't want to leave you guys without video. So yeah, that's basically it for the video. If you liked it, let me know what you thought down below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and peace.